Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeff Grant Media. In today's video, I am joined by... And today we are going to be doing the riveting bathtub soak of the Seven Titans jeans. But before we get into it, we are going to log the measurements so we know what they were before, what they were after, and how much they shrank. And then we will get into the very captivating television of me sitting in a warm bathtub for 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm still not really looking forward to sitting in a tub in my jeans for half an hour. It's going to be a very weird feeling for me, but we're going to do it. So let's get into it and start with our measurements.
And I'm going to be there.
And she's going to sit there and watch me and probably get bored after about 30 seconds of me literally sitting in a tub.
Is it going to be boiling? Like,
no, it's not going to.
Extremely hot, like mom puts on the shower. Guess what? When I go in the shower, guys, my mom puts it on hot blaze. Yeah.
Hot blaze. All right, we're going to have hot water. Maybe not melt our skin off water, though. We'll get it to a comfortable temperature where I can sit in there for half an hour. But let's get our measurements in the books. So our tools are a notebook, tailor's tape, and a pencil. We're going to do the waist, thigh, inseam, and leg opening before and after. So let's start with our before of our waist measurement. And we have roughly 18 3/4. That's pretty big. So we're looking at over a 37 waist. Now these are tagged at a 36. So the fact that they're about 37 and a half, I kind of like that because I know they're going to shrink 2 or a little bit more inches, and I like my jeans to be around a 34.5-inch waist. It gives me room in the waist so they're not feeling like they're going to cut off my circulation. I like to have a little bit extra space in my jeans. I always wear a belt, so if they're a little bit big, I'm okay with that. I don't need my jeans to fit me perfectly without a belt. I prefer them to be a little oversized, so I have room. Because, you know, your body does move and grow and shrink throughout the day. When you eat, you're going to get a little bit bigger in the waistline. When you digest and go to the bathroom, you're going to get a little thinner in the waistline. So your body does actually fluctuate throughout the day. So I like to have that little bit extra room in my waist. So the fact that these are a little bit bigger than the tagged size at about 37.5, I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and tag that, or rate that at 18 3/4 inches in the waist. So now let's take the thigh measurement. And generally for me, I feel it about around the 3-inch from the crotch. So if we go down here, get our thigh measurement, we are at about, I think that was 12.5. Yeah, we're right at about 12.5 inches across the thigh. And now let's do our inseam. So if we go here, oh, tailor's tape is twisted. We are at about 35. Yes, we're almost right at 35 inches. It's like 35 1/8. So we'll get as specific as possible. We will write 35 1/8. 35 1/8 inches. And now the leg openings. And we are at right about, kind of bulky there. We're right at about 8 3/4 inches. It's kind of bulking in. The way that they're hemmed here on the seam, it's twisting in a little bit. So if I lay it without pulling it at 8.5, if I pull it straight, we're about 8 3/4. So we'll go with the 8 3/4 where I'm not like yanking on it, but I'm just kind of pulling it straight. So we're right at about 8 3/4. All right, so there we have it. All of our measurements are in the books. Now we get the fun task of sitting in the tub for half an hour. And because the Sony and the Canon only record up to 30 minutes, and I think the Canon only records up to like 22 minutes, we're going to switch to the Panasonic because that will record until the memory cards are full or the battery dies. So it's the only way I can sit there and do a time lapse of me in the tub for 30 minutes. Here we go. Very first time getting in a tub wearing my jeans. These are so big. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I might need to put a little more water in here.
Your toes are sticking out.
They are.
Oh, that's weird. Your water's pretty blue.
I'm gonna have to fill this water up. Oh yeah, they are.
And the water's making the top turn blue even. Also, the water, that's so cool.
Okay, so we are experiencing some crocking, as Hazel has said. The tub is turning blue, which is why I put on an older t-shirt, although I do like my tie-dye horse t-shirt. It's pretty awesome.
That's what I guessed. That is going to turn the water in the tub blue, and I guessed it
Hazel
right.
did ask me, she's right, she asked if I was going to turn the tub blue. I said, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to crock the tub or not, but apparently I am.
Yes,
But it is a tub, so it will probably come very clean.
It would. You could just rinse it off or
Yeah, I'll rinse the tub off when I'm done.
like scrub it with the soap in the cabinet.
So, I don't know if I should set the timer now or wait till I get completely covered. I'm trying to sit down in the tub.
I'll give you your phone if I need to.
I'm going to use my watch,
Okay.
babe. But there's a lot of water in here. I'm only using hot water now because, you know, the tub is not exactly hot. It's warm. It's warm water, but...
This is literally so good because I enjoy
This is crazy. It would take forever to fill. It would cool down if I only use hot, so...
Yeah, we only have to take a break for a couple minutes.
Alright, I can't really put too much more water here. We're going to hit the thing. Okay, here we go.
You're gonna
Hey
hit the
Siri,
thingy.
set a timer for 30 minutes.
This is an illuminator. Bang, boobity bang. I just call it the illuminator because it lets me, like, I can see the camera with it if I turn it on. I can see how the ceiling was made. I can see how everything was made. If I look into it, but you can sometimes see that light. I'm obsessed when I do this because you're going to be so interested. Ocean Adams, Jefferson Madison, Monroe, Quincy Adams, Jackson Van Buren, Harrison Tyler, Polk and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce Buchanan, Lincoln Johnson, Grant Hayes, Garfield Arthur, Cleveland Harris, Cleveland McKinley, Roosevelt Taft, Wilson Hardy Coolidge, Roosevelt Truman, Adams, Kennedy, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Carter, Reagan, Bush and Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Trump.
All right, we have 15 seconds left, and then I can stand up and there's far more crocking in this tub than I had anticipated. I thought we'd get some of the starches shed, but a lot of the indigo shed as well. So I'm going to be scrubbing this tub for probably a half an hour. And there we go, 30 minutes. I'm curious as to how blue my legs are going to be, but let's stand up.
Here's a crowd review.
So, there we go. I don't feel like they shrink too much. They'll probably shrink a little more as they dry, but yeah, I can clearly see a blue ring around the tub.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and drain this. Oh.
Bye-bye, water.
Okay, we are getting to the tail end of a very long day. We just got back from a 1-hour drive each way with a long walk with a crazy dog down a canal trail in a town that we used to live in many, many moons ago. So I've not tried on the 7 Titans jeans yet, nor have I measured them. That's what we're going to do right now. I will say I don't think they shrink as much in the tub as I wanted them to. Now, the good thing with shrink to fit in Loom State is that I just have to add more hot water and they will shrink some more. Now, the positives with wearing them in the tub and shrinking them, shrink to wear while I'm wearing them, is that they will shrink to my body much better. The downside is that you have to fill up a tub with a lot of water because you need to be... I wasn't completely submerged. My lap was a little above the water. I was trying to sit as low as I could, but you have to fill up a tub with a lot of hot water. And by the time you fill it up, the water is not going to be as hot as it was when it started, because if I let it fill up with strictly hot water, it's going to take forever because there's not as much water pressure. So I have to add cold water to give water pressure, and then I was kind of turning the cold off, adding the hot, blah, blah, blah. So I got a pretty hot bath, but after about 30 minutes, it was warm, but it wasn't hot anymore. So if I was to soak just the jeans in a bin, I can get much hotter water and probably get them to shrink more. Now I can put these in real hot water and then put them on my body, but then I'll be trying to put wet jeans on my body, and that's a fight that no one wants to win or watch. So I may end up doing a second soak in these to maybe shrink them just a little bit more, but let's measure them out here and we'll see how much they shrank or didn't shrink. All right, we are going to start with the most important measurement, which is the waist. You can see they are still a little bit wrinkled because, well, they just dried this morning. So if we go across the waist here, we did not appear to really shrink at all. We are at about 17 and a half, which would give me my 34 and a half inch. Well, that should give me about a 35. So they were 18 3/4, and now they are, what did I say, 17 and a half inches. So we did shrink 1 1/4 inches in the waist. So they're probably going to be about a 35 waist instead of a 34. So we may shrink them again because once you wear them, they'll stretch out a little bit. But let's see, what did we do next? We did the thigh next. So next we'll do our thigh. So I measured my thigh about 3 inches down from the crotch. So 3 inches down, right about here. And then we'll take that straight across. And we are at right about, oh, maybe if I get that, right about 12 inches even. And we are at 12 and a half, so we shrank a 1/2 inch in the thigh. Now let's do the inseam. We were at 35 and 1/8. Check that. And we are at, oh, considerably. We're at about 33 on the nose. So we shrank up about, what did I say, 35 and 1/8? So we shrank up at 2 and 1/8 inches at 35. So we shrank up 2 and 1/8 inches in the length. So that's, I was expecting to be about a 34, and we were at 33 on the nose. So that's interesting. I did not expect them to shrink up that much in the length. Now let's check the leg opening. Now our leg opening was at 8 3/4, and I do remember this little piece of the hem was kind of pulling in just a little bit, and I flexed it out. So we are at, even pulling it out, we're at about, if I pull it, or about 8 1/4. If I let it rest, we're at 8 even. So I pulled it out, we were at 8 3/4. So we are at 8 1/4. So we shrank up, what, a 1/2 inch then? 8 3/4, 8 1. So we shrank up a 1/2 inch in the leg opening. So 8 1/4. Okay, so we took in the waist from 18 3/4 to 17 and a half. So that would be about 1.5 inches in the waist. The thighs came in from 12 and a half to 12 even. So we took in 1 inch, or 1/2 inch, I'm sorry, in the thigh. Our inseam was the biggest shrink. We were at 35 and 1/8, and we're at 33 even. So we came in 2 and 1/8 inches in the inseam length. And our leg openings were at 8 3/4, and we're now 8 1/4. So we came in 1/2 inch on the leg opening. So now the next step is to test them and try them on. Okay, so they are still a little bit big in the waist. Now I do always wear a belt, so it's not going to be an issue for me right now, but I think I'm probably going to do another soak in these to try to take them in just a little bit more. They're also a little bit looser than I like in the thigh and in the leg, so I'm hoping I can maybe shrink those up a little bit more as well. But first time soaking them, I think they did pretty good. I prefer them to shrink less than too much. Now, if they did shrink a little bit too much, yes, they will stretch back out a little bit. We'll probably be able to gain back 1/2 inch, maybe a full inch, depending upon how much I needed them to stretch out. But as they sit now, they're a little bit big, both in the waist and I think in the legs. So I'm going to do another hot soak, and this time I think I will just put them in a bin for 10, maybe 15 minutes. But overall, I am satisfied with the first soak of these jeans. Again, I'd rather them be a little bit too big than a little bit too small. And the denim itself, it does feel pretty good post soak. Now I did do my little trick where I turned them inside out and threw them in the dryer for a few minutes with no heat, just to spin around and help break them in. And they will certainly loosen up and feel much better as I wear them. And they will probably stretch out just a little bit for my body bending. So it's another reason that I think I'm going to try to shrink them down just a little bit more. But thus far, I'm okay with my first run, first time trying this ever. I don't know if I said this in my initial video of these or yesterday when I was doing this, but I did have a shrink to fit pair of jeans once before. I didn't know what they were. I found a cool pair of jeans at the Army Navy store I used to work at. I wore them until they needed to be washed. I threw them in the wash. They came out as this crinkled ball of denim and way too small. It was only later on I realized, or I learned that they were shrink to fit jeans and that I basically just destroyed these jeans. But now I don't want to say I know what I'm doing since it's the first time, but I'm learning a new process here. So we're going to take it step by step and work through it. But so far, so good. I'm okay with it. And now we're going to go ahead and check back in the full real user review what they look like after I run them through for a second hot soak to try to bring them in just a little bit more. So with that, if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications the next time I post a brand new video. Good night.